So, good evening, everyone. I think we are near to the starting time, but if there's anyone left or any of your friends who were willing to join but could not join because they forgot, then just remind them with the link and also share it in your class group, especially for the first year students, because we are going to be covering a lot today and we are also going to be building a project. So, just making sure that none of the interested participants miss it. So, guys, should we start or should we wait? Are any of your friends still joining? Then we can wait. You can write in chat so that we can know. Okay, so I think we should start. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining in today, as always. So, today is the last day of Get Set Python. We will be recapping whatever we have done till now. Other than that, we will also be building a project. And if you have any queries left, that would be solved today as well. And I hope that that's enough knowledge for you. We can start with the session. So, over to you, Shivam. You can go on.
Yeah, so hi guys, a very good evening. I hope you all are having a nice Monday. Okay, so we'll just get started. So, first of all, let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll just recap what we did yesterday. So we talked about the conditional statements that are if and else, and also else if. So the way if works is it the if statement contains a conditional statement basically that evaluates into either a true or a false value. So if the expression evaluates as true, the statements inside the if statement are executed. And suppose you want to give some other statement along, you want to check two conditions, two different conditions, then you can use elif, that is else if, and then it works the same as if. The only difference is none of the statements are executed if the if statement is executed, the first one, and the same holds for elif. So if the if statement doesn't hold true, then the Python interpreter checks for elif, and if that is found to be true, then the elif statement is executed and rest of the statements are ignored. And if all of the statements that are if and elif are not executed, then the interpreter executes the else statement. Okay, so we're done with the if and else if, and then we talked about loops. So we have basically two types of loops in Python, that is for loop and while loop. So for loop is good. For loop is used when you want to do a sort of comprehension, when you have a definite list. So when you know that you have a list and you have elements inside, you can just call each object inside the list one by one using the for loop, and you can do operations uh, using the statements that you write inside the for loop. And the other type of loop is the while loop. So the while loop is used when you want to use a conditional statement, and as soon as the conditional statement is met, the lines inside the while loop are executed. Okay, so we'll just see a quick example for while loop. Yeah, so this is an example for loop. So it says that for character inside this string. So each character inside the string is A, B, and C. So when the interpreter reads this line, it's gonna pick the first character, that is A, and then it's gonna print CH. So we get A first printed here, and then when this line is executed, the interpreter checks again if we have another character inside the string, and yes, we do have, and that character is B. So after that, it prints B and so on, right? So that's the gist of for loops, and then we also have while loop. So the way while loop works is the syntax is while and then some condition. That is a condition that evaluates into true or false. And then below that are the statements that you want to execute. So here we have an example. So we are checking here if I is less than 3. So we have mentioned here that I is equal to 1 in the first line. So this statement evaluates to if I is less than 3, and that is true. 1 is less than 3. So the control comes inside this loop. These statements are executed, and once these statements are executed, we know that I is incremented. So I becomes from 1 to 2. So next time when it checks whether 2 is less than 3. And yeah, that's true. 2 is also less than 3. Then again, these statements are executed, and so on until the value of I reaches 3. And once the value of I reaches 3, the expression evaluates to false, because 3 is not less than 3, right? 3 is equal to 3. We know that. And that's why we get this 1 is printed. And after that, because 1 to the power 2 is 1, and then we have I is equal to 2, so 2 to the power 2 is 4. And after that, the last value that I has is 3, and that is just printed because we are writing it here. Okay, then we talked about break statement. So the way a break statement works is it takes the control of the program from the loop to outside the loop. So it just breaks the loop. So all the statements that are after break are ignored, and the control of the program comes outside the loop, that is here. Suppose here I had print x, right? So the control of the program comes here as soon as it executes break. Okay. And we were talking about continuous. So in the continuous statement, it's kind of the same as break, except that the control doesn't come here directly. It ignores this statement just like break, but instead of going here, the control goes to the loop again. So it's continue is just used to skip one loop, as you might say. So we use continue to skip a loop, so skip an iteration, right? Okay, so and then we can use if else statements inside loops. Okay, so suppose I want to check something inside the loop. I want to check if count is divisible by 2 to check for even number. So that is also possible. So all these statements can be interchanged and used together. So today we'll be doing a problem. I'll go more deep into this that time. Okay. So try and accept. I left this topic yesterday, so I'll just cover it right now. So try and accept is used for exception checking. That is basically to check if your program is working or not. So if you execute a statement and the Python interpreter doesn't understand it, so what are you gonna do? So we use try and accept here. So when we use this, we can print what is the exception, and we can kind of uh, we can keep the flow of the program, because as soon as an error is occurred, the program terminates. We don't want that. We want the program to execute till the last statement. So for that to happen, we're going to use try statement. So the way this works is, suppose we have try statement here, and we have a block of code inside. Okay. So the Python interpreter is going to execute the statements inside the try statement, and if it can execute all of them, then it will execute them, right? But in case it gets an error there, suppose it can't execute a statement. It says that I don't know what this is. It says that I don't know what you're writing here. It doesn't understand basically. So in that case, it's gonna cancel this execution, and then it's gonna go to accept. So whatever we write inside accept, that is gonna get executed instead. Okay, so we'll just quickly get kind of a demo of this. So I'm gonna write try, and I'm gonna write okay, or else I can just explain this one. So um, the interpreter finds the statement try. It comes inside and it tries to execute all these statements. Okay, just before the accept, everything that's written, it's gonna try to execute this. So the first statement is while true. Okay, so one thing you should know about while is if you put true with it. So true is basically like you're saying it run as long as you can. Okay, so that's what we're trying to say with while true. So this is, you can also call it as a sort of infinite loop. We're not passing any condition here. We're just giving the end result of a condition. You're more used to like having these kind of statements, right? While I is less than or equal to 3, and then this condition is evaluated, and it either returns a true or false value. And then so when it evaluates to true, it basically comes as while true, right? So we are skipping that condition and we are giving it the the end result directly. So while true, it just means that just go inside the loop. So when it comes inside the loop, there's another time there's another loop, and that's the same thing. So it comes again, it comes inside again, and this time it has print looping. Okay, so first time it's gonna print looping here. Okay, and then it has a variable count that becomes count plus 1. Initially it was 0, so right now count is 1, and then it checks if count is greater than 3, and that's not true because count, we know that 0 plus 1 is 1, so count is it's not greater than 3. So this statement will be ignored. This statement doesn't execute because it's an if statement. And then again, if count is greater than 4, that is also false. So even this statement is not going to execute. So after this, the control goes back to this loop, that is while true. And then again, it's going to print looping, right? So again, we have looping here. And after that, count is again incremented. So this time count value is 2. and again count is not greater than 3 or 4, so all these statements are ignored. Then again it comes up to the loop, and then again it's going to print looping for the third time, and this time count becomes 3. So count is still not greater than 3, it's only equal to 3. So again it's going to print looping by skipping all these statements. And finally it's 4. So if count is greater than 3, it's going to raise an exception. You can ignore the statement raise. So we get caught exception abort. So it's basically the statements mean that give an exception that is called abort. Just write abort that you have found the exception abort, right? So at this point we are forcing the control to go like we are forcing it to find an exception. Exception is nothing but an error. We are just you don't think about the statement.
Hello,
You
sir.
can think. Yeah, please tell me.
So I was just asking that in C++ we have a concept of try and catch. Is it like that in Python? Same.
Yeah, it's exactly same as try and catch. In other languages, we have try and catch, even in Java and in C. But here we have try and accept. It's the same concept, just with the different name.
Okay, it's for exceptional. I think exceptional handling. I think.
Yeah, this is for exception handling. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, 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 sir.
Yeah, trying to get you to know how it's working. Yeah, so this statement is basically we are giving we are forcing an exception. So when an error exception is nothing but an error. So when an error is encountered, I told you that the try statements are ignored after that, and the control goes to accept. Okay, so when it comes to accept, inside accept we have this statement print. So it's gonna print. Okay, it's not printing stopped iteration, but okay because we have finally here. It's kind of complex. Wait.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah. Please tell me,
So I
Riaz.
was just asking, is it necessary to use Jupyter? I use code blocks.
Sure. You can use any ID you want. If you attended the first two sessions, I focused on the usage of ID and Jupyter. Jupyter is just easy for me to teach and distribute these notebooks among you. So I'm using Jupyter. Otherwise, you can use any ID. I usually use PyCharm or Atom. So it depends on whatever. It's just based on preference. So whichever one you like, you can use, right?
Is there any extra features in Jupyter?
Uh, yeah, Riaz, we can say that it's like you don't have to re-execute everything. Once you have executed this block, that's going to be stored inside the notebook, and then you can just execute these, right? So it's easier if you have a long code and you can't just re-execute it time and time again to test it. So you can just execute up to this point, and then you can make whatever changes you want here, and you can test it. So that's the advantage you have with Jupyter. And it's also useful for sharing Python code and like teaching, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Riaz, is that fine?
Yes, yes, that's yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about try and accept. So as soon as an error is encountered inside try, I'm just gonna give here some dummy statement so that we can find the error intentionally. I'm just gonna write something. So when I execute this time, see it says caught exception, right? So because it caught this exception here, so it's gonna print that it caught this exception. Because after this, when try is failed, any of the statement inside try is failed, it goes to accept and it prints this. And finally is just that after all the try and accept has been done, finally is like a for statement. So anything that you write inside finally is going to be executed no matter what you do with try and accept. Okay, so it's just like a fail safe, you want to print or you want to do something after all the try and accept have been executed. Okay, so we are done with try and accept.
What will the for iteration do?
Yeah, Abhirup, your voice is kind of low. Can you repeat?
Yeah, what will the first exception do? There are two exceptions.
Yeah, even I am kind of, I'm not sure what this is. Let me check. Where's that Jupyter notebook? Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
accept stop
stop
iteration.
iteration. What will that do?
Yeah, we didn't get this exception for some
Yeah, yeah.
reason. Let's try to remove this. Let's see now. Okay, it's not going inside this.
Yes, I guess it is something else. The stop iteration.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's some kind of a glitch in this one. It's not accepting this statement at all. Even if I, okay, I should remove this. Okay, let's try now. Yeah, now it's working. So it is doing a list comprehension here. It is saying stop iteration as E, and then you are printing E. I don't know why this one wasn't executing earlier. Let's just try. Okay. I'm not sure here. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I hope that I'm clear with the usage of try and accept.
Yeah, yeah. The rest is clear.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, if you any of you guys have any doubt in if else statements or try and accept, please let me know.
No, no, it's okay.
Okay. So Shakshi wants the notebook link. Um, Neha, can you share it with her?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Sir,
yeah, the
I was
notebooks.
just asking. I was just asking. I'm not in that group in which you were just saying sharing the link. One of my friend just shared it to me. So, what's the name of the groups? I just want to
Okay.
join.
Uh,
Okay, so
Riaz,
Riaz, are you
I'm
not the part of GDSC DIB members group? Is that so?
No, I don't think.
Okay, okay. So I'll share the group link here in the chat so that you may join.
Okay, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So we are done with if else and try and accept. So now we are
Uh,
gonna
Today,
see.
will there be any project that we
Yeah,
have?
Biro, we'll just get to it.
Okay.
Just one concept is left, that is dictionaries. We'll finish that and we'll get to the project, right? Okay. So dictionary is like we studied list, right? So list is a collection of objects. So it can have any type of objects and it can be of any length, right? We can have an integer, we can have a string, right? And then we can also have floating point numbers, and we can have boolean also. We can store true, right? So this is a list, and it is denoted by square brackets. Okay. Now we're going to talk about dictionary. So dictionary is another data type in which we have key value pairs. Okay. So we're going to have key, and we're going to have values. So you can think of this as like you need, so for to get the values you need the keys. Okay. So you can think of dictionaries like it consists of key and value pairs, and to access the values you need a key. Okay. So dictionaries are denoted by curly brackets. Okay, the braces. So curly brackets, and it's gonna have a key, like I said, and it's gonna have the value that is assigned to the key. Okay. And we can have these pairs for any number of times. Okay. So we can store any number of key and value pairs. So now you may ask, what is the use of having dictionary, right? So the use of having dictionary is that it's sort of a mapping system. So you can map the key to the values. So you don't have to necessarily call values. You can call values using the keys, and that is used mostly in JSON and XML files, and that is like kind of out of the scope right now. So I'm not going to discuss that. But you can just think of dictionaries as key value pairs. So it is a data structure that has key value pairs, right? And it can store any number of these key value pairs. Okay, just think of dictionaries this way. Yeah. So we're gonna use dictionaries now, and we're gonna um, build a
Is
small
dictionary commonly used
small
in programs?
program. Uh, um, Abhirup, actually,
Yes.
in my like it depends on the application. Okay, so the domain that I work in, I rarely get to use it because I don't work with APIs and stuff. So if you work with APIs and you need to process a lot of HTML and JSON and XML, then you may need to use dictionaries. But for most problems, I'm able to just do with list. Lists are fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's try to. I'll tell you the problem statement and we'll code it together. So you can just open Google Colab again. To open that, just go to collab.research.google.com or just Google Colab, right? And inside Google Colab, you can go to file and you can go to new notebook. So here I'm gonna have file and I can click on new notebook and it's just gonna open a new notebook like this. Okay. So let me just get a new notebook. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to make a system, an automatic system of sorts, where the user enters the name of the student and the marks that he has. Okay, so we're gonna take the name of the user, I mean the student, and we're gonna take the marks, and then we'll try to do some operations with that. Okay, so you can code along with me. I won't go really fast so that I'll give you time to write the code and understand it. Okay. So we're gonna use a dictionary. Okay. So why we are using dictionary is because like I said, it's gonna have key value pairs, right? So we're gonna keep the keys as the names. We're gonna keep names of students as the keys, and we're gonna assign the value as their marks. So suppose 100, right? And then for the second student, we're going to do the same. We're going to have another name, say Shivam, and we're going to assign the marks with that 0 or whatever. Okay. So that's what we're going to do for all the students. Okay. So the way we do this is, yeah. Um, so let's just initialize dictionary. So the way we initialize dictionary is we go first of all we need to name the dictionary, right? So let's just name the dictionary, say class marks. Okay. Okay, let's just call it class data. So we're gonna have class data is equal to a dictionary. Dict. The dict is the keyword that is used to initialize the dictionary. Okay. So now we have a dictionary that is named class data, and now we'll try to store the names inside the dictionary. Okay. So how are we gonna access the elements inside the dictionary? Right now the dictionary is empty, okay, because we've just initialized it. So we know that the dictionary is empty. So it's kind of like this, okay. And inside this we are going to fill the data, all the data. Okay. So yeah. uh, yeah, so guys, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Till then you can initialize the dictionary in your Google Colab, right? I'll be back in just 2 minutes. I'm really sorry.
So, can I know how many of you are coding along? so that
I am coding in a Python ideally.
okay. No problem. You can. I think Shivam also mentioned that you can code
Yeah.
like any of the editors
Hmm.
you prefer. But how many of you are coding along with him? Like any editor, it does not matter if it's Google Colab.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I was just asking, is there any timetable or the classes are being randomly?
No, actually, I think I need to brief you through what is GDSA. So we are a community where we actually, hold workshops and sessions and projects and other competitions, which are for people who are interested in technology. So that is why we almost have 1 to 2 events every month. So you will get all the updates if you follow us in our social media channels, as well as we are also going to give all the updates in our WhatsApp group as well. So that would be enough. So that is what. And today we are having the last day of our Get Set Python, which is a Python workshop, 3-day Python workshop, and today is the last day of that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can I continue?
Yes, sure, you can continue.
Yeah, okay. So we just declared, we initialized the dictionary, right? So now what we want to do is we want to store as many as much data as we want, right? So maybe say there are 10 students. So we want the data for all the 10 students at the same time. So we can't just accept the data once and we can close the program. So we're gonna have to run the program so many times so that for all the uh, 10 students we can get the data. So we know that for repetitive tasks we need to use a loop. So I'm going to use a loop and I'm going to write while true. So the statements mean that just keep executing as long as it can, unless I give it a command such as break or something to get out of the loop, right? So I'm trying to run an infinite loop so that I can take the data as much data as I want. Okay, so we're taking the data in dictionaries, right? So like I talked about the dictionary being a set of key value pairs. So we need to have keys and values where keys are the names and values are the numbers or the marks of the students. So we're just gonna keep the key. So we'll just say key is equal to input. So we'll take the key from the user. Input function is used to take input from the keyboard, and we're going to prompt the user. Please enter the name of the student. Name of student. Okay, and then when this statement is executed, it's going to prompt that please enter the name of the student. It's going to ask us that, and as we type and press enter, that value will be stored inside the key. So it's basically name. It's not a key. Later we'll change this variable to name. Just for your understanding, I'm keeping it as key so that you know that we are trying to get key value pairs here. Okay. and we also need value, right? The value that will be assigned to the key. So value again, I'm gonna take from the user and I'm gonna ask please enter the marks, right? Okay. So let's just try to, okay, but if we run this right now, it's gonna keep on running, it won't end. So let's just give an if statement here such that, so, okay, let's just take a choice from a user, right? If he wants to continue or not. So choice is equal to again input of do you want to continue? So it depends on the user how many times he wants to continue doing this. So we'll just ask this and then if we'll give an if statement and if choice is double equals to n. So if the user presses n on the keyboard, so if the choice that is what we are taking from the user, it is equal to n. If you're pressing n on the keyboard, we want this program to end. So we'll just write break. Okay. Yeah. So break when we press n, it's just gonna break, right? And we'll just give. We don't have to give anything else. Yeah. So let's just run this once and see what happens, right? Um, you guys can copy in the time that this is executing. Yeah. So first of all, it says, do you want to continue? So yes, I want to continue. So I'm just gonna write yes, and then it asks me, please enter the name of the student, right? So I'm gonna write Shivam. So when I write Shivam and I press enter, it's gonna be stored inside this key, right? That's what we were trying to do. So I'm gonna press enter here. Now it says please enter the marks, and when I write 23, so this 23 will be stored inside value. Okay. So I'm gonna execute this, and again now it asks, do you want to continue? Right. So I can keep on doing this. I can enter as many names as I want, and the marks along with that. But since we are done, I just wanted to explain the concept. I'm just going to write n here. So when I write n, it checks that if n it equals to n, the user doesn't want to continue, and it's gonna break, right? We'll also give a nice print statement here that says, "Okay, see you later." Okay, see you later, alligator or whatever. Okay, yeah. So next time we execute this, and when we don't want to continue, it's just gonna say, "Okay, see you later, alligator." Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so now we have the key value pairs, okay,
Hello.
and
Sorry
we
for
want to store.
interrupting.
Yeah, yeah. Please tell me, Abhirab.
Yeah. Can you open the ideally? Yeah. You are,
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
yeah. In the value, you are using input. Please enter the marks. When we use input, it enters in a string. So if we don't give a int before that, then it won't come as a int.
yeah. That's right. We can do that here.
Yeah,
We can
we have to give a int.
put the integer here. We can also do it later when we are
Yeah, yeah,
actually
also.
calculating, right?
Yeah,
But this will take more processing power, so we're not going to do it. We want to make our program efficient, right? So we'll just do it at once in the end. It's fine if you do it here. It's not like it's going to consume very much of the processing power. It's just that you want to do everything at once. You don't want to like keep on doing the same thing every time. So that's why we will do it at the end, right? Yeah, but you can also do it here. It's fine. It's not wrong in any way. It's just that we'll just do it at the end at once, right? Okay. So now we have the key value pair, and now we want to store this inside the dictionary that we had. We're just having key value. We haven't stored it inside the dictionary yet. So we're gonna do it right now. So let me just write this statement. I'm gonna write so class data. That is the name of our dictionary. Class data of key, right? Is equals to value. Okay, so what the statements mean is that the class data, so we are giving a key to the class data. Okay, right now the class data was empty. Like I said, class data was empty, and we were gonna fill it with key value pairs. So when I write class data of what did I write? Key. Yeah, I wrote class data of key. That means that give a key to the dictionary. Okay, so this will be our first key, right? And we have a key now, and we are also telling it equal to, because we are giving a value to that key. We are assigning that value to the key. Okay, so basically we are giving the key and value to the dictionary. That is what this statement means. Okay. Also, one thing you should know that inside a dictionary, whenever you want to call upon a value, you have to refer it by its key. So suppose we had a dictionary um of key values, and I wanted to get the value inside the dictionary. So to get that value, I'm just going to write dictionary, whatever the name of the dictionary is, dictionary of the key, because these are like pairs, right? They're like husband and wife. So you can just call the husband if you want to call the wife. It's like they're mapped, they're internally mapped together, they're gonna be together forever. So you can just call the key of the dictionary to call upon its value. Okay, so that's the point I was trying to make. So that's what we are doing here. We are calling the key of the data. We are giving it a key, and then we are saying that please map that key to this value. Okay, whatever value we have here. Okay, so it's gonna do this as long as we want. So let's just see what happens, right? So I'm gonna execute this once more. Do you guys need time to like copy this? I'm just gonna keep this for 1 minute.
No, but I'm getting an error. I guess we also have to use a else function.
Okay, you got an error, is it?
Yeah,
What error did you get?
uh, I
Just
think
read that error.
I guess I'm checking it. Okay.
Yeah, take your time.
So
It's okay.
through the key we can access the I think value.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
can. We'll be doing that once we get when once we store the values inside the dictionary. We'll do that. I'll show you how it's done. Okay, I'll just execute it. Let's see. Yeah, so we want to continue. Yes. So please enter the name. I'm just gonna type Shivam, and then I'm gonna type my marks. Do you want to continue? Yes. Then again, I'm gonna write the name of a student, and then I'm gonna write their marks. And then do you want to continue? Yes. Now let's just write B, and then again we'll store their marks, and we can just keep on doing this, right? As many times as we want. Right now we have the data for 3 students, and we can even do the fourth, let's say Sakshi, and her marks also, right? So we can keep on doing this for as many students as we want. So right now I feel like four are enough to illustrate the concept. So I'm just gonna say n. So it terminates, right? Like we wanted. And it also says, okay, see you later, alligator. Okay.
Okay, Shivam,
So
but why do I get zero?
yeah, Neha, that's just for that's
I know.
I don't know. Yeah. So the Neha is very sad right now. She got 0 marks. Let's
Yes.
just try to, yeah. So we are done with storing the data inside the dictionary, right? Class data. We have this data for 4 students. Now let's try to access this data after the loop. Okay. So I'm just gonna write print the name and the name of the dictionary class data. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay. But again, then I have to execute this again, right? So the point that I was making earlier, I'm just gonna make a new code here, right? So up to this point, I've already executed, and that is stored. Okay. Then if I go and press plus code, I can just execute this statement alone. If I wrote it here, then I would have had to like execute this all this again, and I don't want that. It's just gonna take the time. I would have to enter all this data again. So I'll just write print class data here and let's see. Yeah, so see it prints the names and the data so neatly. So we have also Sakshi. I'm sorry I miswrote your name. I hope that's fine. And then we have Shivam has 100, Neha has 0, and like that we have the marks for all the students. Okay. So now let's try to do some operations on this. Also, Abhi, you were getting an error, right? Please let me know what was that. We'll try to
No,
rectify
no,
it.
yeah, it's okay now. I
Okay, got it.
didn't.
Okay, I think you might have wrote something like this, right?
No, no,
You might have missed an
the
indent.
N I didn't insert in quotes. So it
Okay,
was not a
so
character.
okay, you wrote it n. Okay, if you write it, then it passes as a variable.
Yeah,
It doesn't pass as a string. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
So
how is the
I
data being printed?
yeah. So this is how the dictionary is stored internally, and it just prints that. It's and you might think that it's coming in one line, right? So we can also do it like in multiple lines. So I'll just type a for loop. I'll say for key. So each of these are key, right? Shivam is a key, Neha is a key, Abhi is a key, and Sakshi is a key. And these are the values 100, 0, 100, right? So I can just call a key. So for key in class data, that is the name of my dictionary. So I'm calling a key from a class data. That means first I'm calling Shivam, right? So for key in class data, I can just print. So let's see what happens if I print the key, right? I'll just print the key for now. Okay. So let's see. So I'll get all the keys. I get Shivam, I get Neha, I get Abhi, and I get Sakshi. Now, but I also want the values, right? This data it doesn't make sense. I also put the marks. Then why should I only get the keys? So for that, I'm just gonna give comma and I'm gonna give. I can give value. Okay. If I give value, the interpreter would be like, "What is value? I don't see any value here." The last time it encountered a value was here. Okay, so it's gonna say that enter the marks, and the last one was 100. So it's just gonna print 100. Let's try it. Right, it just prints 100, and this is inaccurate. Neha had 0 here. Okay, so that is very inaccurate. And it is happening because the interpreter the last time it knows that value. The last time the value was assigned something was here. After that we haven't changed the value of the variable value, and that is why we're getting 100, right? So this is very be careful. You can just print key and value here. So what we are going to do is we're going to print the key of um, yeah. So we can do key of what was the yeah key of key, I think. So yeah, these are kind of misleading. Let's just keep data here. For data in class data, I'm gonna print the key, and then I'm gonna print the marks of the key, right? Let's try now. Okay, I got an error. Let's see what it says. So string indices must be integers. Okay, guys, give me a sec. I think I went wrong somewhere. Let me just check it. Yeah, so it doesn't know what key is, right? We have to give data here. Let's try now. Um, yeah, again, it's an error because I should pass it as a string. Why is this happening? Yeah, so right now I printed the marks for Neha, and the way I access that is by calling it from its key. So the key here we had was Neha, right? Where is the print one? Okay, so I showed you right that we had the key Shivam, Neha, Sakshi, and Abhirup. So I'm calling the value of that using this. So I'm one second, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. So I'm accessing the value that was assigned to Neha. So for that, I just call class data of Neha. So it just gives me the value, right? And now I can do this in a loop also, right? So for data in class data, I'm gonna print class data of this is just gonna print Neha's marks every time. So we'll pass yeah. So now it's working. Yeah. So I showed you how to access the marks of an individual student and also how to access the marks of all the students. But these are just the marks. I'll also print the names. So for that I just need to print the data. Okay. So how is this working is in class data we have four mappings. So we have four keys and we have four values. So the keys are the names. So when I type print data, that just means that I'm printing the keys. So the keys are the names. So I'm just gonna get Neha, Shivam, and all the names. And with the class data, this statement is kind of complex. I know. I'll try to explain this right now. So when I print this, I get the marks along with that. So let's just print this first and let's see what happens. Yeah. So I get the names and I also get the marks of all the students, right? So this is nothing but like I was talking about string formatting, right? So yesterday, so this thing means that I'm putting the place for data here because I can't pass the data directly because the key are in strings, right? So it's getting kind of complex, I know, but if I have to
But in
explain it,
Python, ideally, it is running all right.
sorry, I didn't get that, Abhiru.
In Python, ideally, I am not getting an error. I am not using format.
Okay, you are not using format, then how did you write it?
Yeah, without format, it is running in Python ideally.
Okay, but what did you write? Suppose I remove format, then you have to write something here, right?
Mm,
Can you just put
class
your
data
code in the
of
chat? Just
class data of data.
oh, you just wrote data.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but I tried that. I was getting an error. That's why I changed. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's also working. Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Then
It
yeah, if
also
it's
works.
working fine.
Mm.
I wrote this. Maybe I went somewhere wrong and then
Yeah,
I tried a
yeah.
bunch of stuff. Yeah, I
Actually, it's a
overcomplicated it.
little confusing. Dictionaries are a little confusing when we come
Yeah,
to access.
especially the naming, like whether should you name it key, whether you should name it name, and So for your understanding, let's change it to name. So I'm getting name and I'm getting marks here. Okay, and then I will change. Hey, where's that statement? Yeah, so I'm just gonna write class data of name is equal to marks, right? So it's the same thing. Let's just execute it again to verify it's working. Yeah, and then right? Um, Shit, I messed up. Yeah, so I'll just stop and then I'll print. Yeah, I did some stuff here wrong. Okay, so don't worry about this. That's why the data is printed wrong. Okay, now that we are done with this, now what we are gonna do is, have you guys written this code, this one 13, this full? If you have, just press, just type yes in the chat box. Let's see how many of you have done this. Then we'll proceed. Yeah, okay. And you verified it's working, right? You execute once and entered the names and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just run this once more just to type the data cleanly. Yeah. So
So what is format?
yeah, I'll get back to you. Give me a sec. I did it wrong again. Yeah. So formatting is basically I talked about this yesterday. So when you want to when you want to pass a variable to a string. So when you're writing a string, suppose you're writing print, uh, you're writing abis um, marks are, and you want to give marks, but you don't want to hard code it, like you don't know what the marks are, right? You're calculating it from some other function. You're getting the marks here. Suppose we have a function here, get marks, and using this function only we are getting the marks, right? We have marks is equal to from this function we are getting the marks. Now how are you gonna print the marks? You can't write marks here, right? It just goes inside the string. If you just type marks here, that is just inside the string. It's gonna print Abhi's marks are equal to marks. That's just stupid. So we need a way to have the value of marks inside this value. Suppose we had marks 100, right? So I want to pass this value inside this. So for that, I'm gonna use string formatting, and I'm gonna use this set of curly braces, and these are the placeholder. So these are the placeholder for what I'm gonna give to the string. So I'm gonna give it, and this is the syntax. You have to write format, and then you have to give it. Like I'm giving marks. So what happens is this marks will come and sit here inside this. These curly braces are ignored,
Okay, in that
and
curly
it's
braces, the max will be replaced there.
yeah, exactly. So if I have to show you, let's see what happens, right? So it's gonna print 100. This one is still executing. Yeah, I stopped it. And let's just execute this one. So see, Abhi's marks are equal to 100. Okay, I
Yes,
did.
yes.
You have to give dot format. Okay, I gave comma. So that's why it's coming wrong. This time it'll come correctly, right? So
Yes, sir.
that is string formatting. Yeah. Okay, now getting back to what we were doing. So let me just quickly type the data. Okay, I messed up again. Never mind. So yeah, so we'll try to do some operations with the marks that we have right now. Okay. So first of all, I want to calculate the average marks, right? So for that, we have a function in list, but I don't think we can use it here. Okay, let's just find the sum, right? First, we'll try to find the sum. So we can just initialize the sum as 0, and inside the loop itself we can give here sum is equal to sum plus the marks for class of data, and we'll also make sure that it is an integer, so we'll just put int of class of data. So this means nothing but sum is initially 0, so the first time it comes inside the loop. Currently we were printing and now, but we are also calculating sum now. So how is the sum calculated is sum is equal to sum. Right now it is 0, and then integer value of class of data. So class of data is probably 100 or 80 or something. So it's just gonna give 0 plus 100. So sum will be initially 100. Then it keeps on running like this, and it will calculate the sum of uh, the marks of the all the students. So let's try what happens. Okay, it says invalid integ. Yeah, I didn't write data here. Okay, fair enough. Let's just run it again. Yeah, so it's not giving me any value because I didn't print it. Let me just print some. Now this time it should give. Yeah, so it's coming 0. The reason is I messed up here. Okay, I wrote marks in names and names in marks. So that is why the integer value it's not coming. It can give an integer value for a string. So let me just quickly clean this data once more. By the time you can copy this code, right? Can't believe it. Yeah. So did you guys try this? Oh, we're getting an error, is it? Yeah. Did you guys try it? Please let me know in the chat if you're feeling stuck anywhere. Okay. So Abhirup, it's working fine, right?
Hello.
What about Sakshi? Yeah. Somnath, tell me.
It's my fault. Joined late just because here it's puja. Okay, and
It's okay,
just because.
Somnath. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Can you
The session. Yeah,
can you please
the
give
session
me
is
the
being.
what is the summary of this project and which type of project you done?
We are just using the dictionaries to solve a simple problem of getting the names and marks of a student, and then we're trying to do some simple operations on that. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So yeah,
This season will be uploaded in YouTube, na?
yeah, it will be uploaded on YouTube. Yeah, you can access
Yes.
that.
Okay, okay.
Once
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
session ends, we will
yeah.
soon
Sorry.
upload it.
Yeah, so we have the sum now. Let's try to find the average. So we can just say print sum and divide it by. So we know that average is nothing but sum divided by the total number of students. So total number of students, how can we find that? We can just say that it's the length of the dictionary. So dictionary is nothing but the class data. So the length of class data means it'll return the number of elements inside class data. Okay. So maybe it's four, maybe it's five, we don't know. Depends on how many students you have taken inside the dictionary uh, from the above code. So just try to execute this, then you'll get the average, and then you can print the average. You can say that the average marks of the class is just assign this to average. Assign this to a variable named average. Don't put print here. Yeah, just so it'll calculate the average, and then we'll print it. The average marks of the class is, let's use the string formatting since we were talking about it. Dot format of average, right? Yeah. Alternatively, you can also use this print this same statement and you can just write comma and you can pass average here, right? You can either use this or you can either use this. It's up to you. Um, yeah. So sorry, you might be copying. Yeah. So try to execute this and let me know. I'm not executing because for some reason, doesn't matter how many times I try, I'm either putting the name in the marks or marks in the name. So you guys can execute it. Okay, so um, did it work, guys? Just ping in the chat yes if it worked. Okay, can at least someone at least say that they're doing it? I don't know what's happening.
All those who are trying the code, please write it in the chat so that we can know that how many of you are actually coding along.
Yeah, so Abhirup is still doing it, I guess. Just use this statement, Abhirup, the one I provided, and it should work. Alternatively, you can use the commented one also. They both work fine. Okay, what's the error you're getting, Sakshi? Can you tell me? Maybe you can unmute or you can just type in chat. Okay, so I executed this entire code, and it's work. Okay, it's not working, I think.
Sakshi, I guess it is an indentation error. What you can do is align it with the P of your print statement. Once you align it vertically, I think it would be okay.
Neha, what's wrong with my code though? I get only a B's marks and
Okay, so wait, let
okay,
me
I didn't
just.
put it. Yeah, no, no, I didn't.
Yeah, yes,
So
you missed the
yeah,
information.
so I hope you guys didn't do the same. Please indent this statement and align it with name and marks because I put
In
it out
case
of
of
indentation for
Python,
some
there
reason.
is no semicolon as you might have seen in these 3 days as well. So you will have to maintain an indentation for every block that you are trying to create.
Yeah, and the advantage that is that you don't have to use semicolon, and your code just looks so pretty. Like just see,
Yes.
let's just look at it. Yeah, so Sakshi, you could resolve it, right? Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Um, so Neha, can we wrap it up or?
Yes, I guess we can wrap it up. But before we do it,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there
you
anyone
can.
who is facing any issue till now? Because I think this marks the end of the project and our workshop as well.
Yeah, so guys, if you have any doubts right now regarding
Thank you,
anything, just
Shivam,
let me
for your
know.
amazing workshop.
Somnath, sorry, I didn't get that.
Thank you, Shivam and GDSC, for amazing
Oh yeah,
workshop.
yeah, yeah. Of course, it was a pleasure, Somnath, interacting with you all, and I can say that it's an honor to be
And
to
one more
take this
thing,
session and
वन मोर थिंग हम सीखे हैं आपसे, जो जिसका
hmm,
डेडिकेशन होता है ना, वो सब
hmm.
कर सकते हो। मैकेनिकल से भी कंप्यूटर में जाता जा सकता है, वो कंप्यूटर से भी मैकेनिकल जा सकता है।
Yeah, that's great,
थैंक
Somnath.
यू।
I'm happy that I could inspire you for that. Yeah, it feels great. Thanks a lot.
Every person is unique and you are one of them.
Yeah, thank you, Somnath. Yeah. Today I'm gonna sleep with a smile on my face. Okay,
Thank you
so
so much, Shivam. I mean,
yeah,
from the entire GDSC team, from the entire community, it has been a great journey. These 3 days have been amazing. It's not only about learning Python, let's just say that we have learned how to learn a programming language in a correct way. And I think after this, we will be able to learn any programming language in a matter of time. So, having that said, I would like to tell you all that this was a prerequisite of our next workshop, that is game development. So, if you liked this workshop, if you liked the project that we did today, but you are thinking that maybe I can go up a level up, and if you think that you can do it, then we will be soon coming back with a game development workshop where we will be using Python to make pie games. So I hope that makes you excited, and we will be soon releasing the notification for the same. Thank you so much everyone for joining in today. Yes, you can connect with Shivam on LinkedIn. He is also in the WhatsApp group. You can ask your doubts there, and I would also suggest you to ask your doubts in the Discord server, where we have the data science channel, where you can accommodate all the Python related doubts. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone.
yeah.
Have
If
an
I can just add something to that,
sure, sure.
So can I
yeah.
ask
So
something?
yeah, sure. Yeah, just 1 second. You guys are always welcome for any guidance or anything, and also this is like very basic of Python. If you really like it, you can keep on learning. There are like unlimited number of sources. I'll be sending you some of them in the WhatsApp group, and you can also ping me either on LinkedIn or WhatsApp or Instagram, and I'll be helping you with that if in case you want to learn more. Right? So that's great. Okay. It was good interacting with you all. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Yeah, sorry, Riaz, you wanted to say something, right? I forgot.
Yes, sir. So I was
Yeah,
just asking.
please.
I'm new to programming, and what language should I use? Means Should I
Yeah.
start with?
So Riaz, in case you haven't learned C and C++ before, don't worry. Python is a great language to be your first language. It is designed to be that way that you can easily understand and coordinate. So I would suggest that you just start learning Python. There are so many sources online. Just join this WhatsApp group. I'll be sending some of them, and you can get started with that.
Okay, sir, but my friends are saying that if you want to learn data structures and lots, and if you want to be perfect at algorithms, then you should start with Java, or they're suggesting C++, or you want
Yeah,
to learn
that's true. Yeah, that's true. But um, for your sake, that you can understand the concepts easily, uh, in case because you haven't learned it before, right? If you had learned it before, it would have been great as a second language. Python would have been great as a second language. But now that you haven't, now you have to revisit C and Java, and they're more complex and they're more rigid in their ways. But Python is very flexible and it's easier to learn. So it is my suggestion, but of course you can ask others. Try to consult more, as many people as you can, and then make a educated decision, right? Just don't listen to me or anyone. Try to take a survey or just research online, ask your professors. There are lots of ways that you can make a decision, right? So all the best for that.
Okay, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, my
Yeah.
friends are saying that if you want to be good at reasoning or making algorithms, then you should have a good long lang means of C++. You should be good at C++ like that. So I was just a bit confused. So what should I choose? Java, C++, or Python?
Yeah, it's okay, Riaz. Learning C++ is not learning C++ is not the end of the world. It's not like you'll only get a job or like do good in life if you know C++. It's just another programming language. You can learn any concept in any programming language. We have data structures in Python as well. Dictionary is a data structure, right? Then we also have classes. We didn't touch classes, but there's a lot to learn in Python as well. It's not like you can only learn certain concepts in C and C++, right?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
sure.
I would totally agree with Shivam. Actually, languages are just a way to depict your logic. Other than that, what matters is you know how to approach a problem and you know how to build a logic. That is, I think, the most important point. So don't worry, stick with us. Or there are plethora of resources online. Just do what you feel that you can do it, and it's not necessarily that you have to learn a specific language to do something. If you research a little bit, you will be able to get a way around it. So I think that
Sure,
was
ma'am.
it.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Riyaz, for that amazing question. So I think that was it for today. We can wrap it up here. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Neha, are you there?
Yes.
I don't interrupt, but Riyad say na the algorithm data structure. So if he new programming language, he must know the C language. The data structure.
Somnath, this is not true. I would like to say, since I have been coding for 6 years now, okay, so I can say that there is no specific way of approaching a thing. Like, as we say that Android development is possible via Java or Kotlin, or we have C++. Yes, these application, like whatever you are trying to achieve, whatever kind of development you are trying to do, there are specific stacks that you need to follow. But when we talk about data structures and things like that, it totally depends upon how you build your logic. I have been doing competitive programming for a while now. I have been actively participating in several competitive competitions at different platforms, be it Hacker Rank, Code Chef, or Geeks for Geeks, as you might have heard. And this is what I have felt. I have even changed my language from C to Java, and I don't think there was a huge difference in doing things. It's just that my syntax changed, but other than that, the logic was always same. So it's not true. And I would actually encourage you guys to not restrict yourself to anything. Don't restrict yourself, as we don't restrict ourselves. Try to,